Hello YouTube, and welcome back to me trying to read every single lost episode creepypasta that I can get my hands on. Today, I'll be reading Archie's Funhouse DVD. Now, I've only come across a few Archie comics, but I don't know very much about Archie and friends and that whole universe. That being said, why don't we just get right into it? Archie's Funhouse DVD. You ever heard of the TV show Archie's Funhouse? It was a very underrated 70s show with some great jokes, some great songs, and based off a great comic book, which is still going strong even to this day. Unfortunately, it was overshadowed by another Archie show, by which I can't remember the name. I received this DVD for Easter, and after I watched a few episodes, I was hooked. The overall cheesiness of it kept me coming back every time. There was some sort of appeal to it that kind of made me addicted to it. So, on August 12, 2011, my friend came over to my house as we were going to watch some YouTube videos, but he wanted to see my DVDs. I showed him my DVDs, but about halfway through, when I showed him the DVD for Archie's Funhouse, he just repeated, "Oh my God," a few times. I asked him what's up, and he told me about a rumor he had heard on the internet from another Archie's fan. My friend wasn't a fan of Archie, he just liked myths that involved DVDs, Blu-rays, video games, etc. And he said that the rumor is to put in the second disc, go to the episode listings, go to the last episode on the list, and hold down the left button for a certain time. A new episode would appear. Me and my friend loved testing out tech myths. We tried the Sonic R Tails doll trick. That didn't work. We tried the Madden NFL 9 myth to unlock a team called the Devils, and that didn't work. So I figured this would not work, like usual. We put the DVD in my PlayStation 3, and we went to the last episode. I used a pencil taped to a chair to push the analog stick to the left. For the next 30 or 40 minutes, we were watching YouTube videos on my iPod Touch, when suddenly the theme song came up. I took the pencil off the chair and checked to see if the X button had been pushed, because if it hadn't, this really was a lost episode. We watched in awe as the animation was more crisp and clear than usual. Don't get me wrong, the animation sucked, but it was like this was a Blu-ray version of the show. The episode started, and weirdly enough, the episode wasn't anything like the TV show. It was more like a comic strip. I checked the runtime by pressing select, and it was also longer than a usual episode from the show. A regular episode would be about 25 minutes long, but this was 47 minutes. Now, let me explain something before I continue. This show was nothing like the comics. The comics had actual stories. The show, however, only had some cheap, corny jokes, songs. It was like a comedy skit. This episode was like the comics. It started with a fat man, kind of like Mr. Weatherby, but more mean. Was told by a man covered by shadows to steal money from Mr. Lodge, Veronica's dad. I had to explain to my friend that this was happening because Mr. Lodge was one of the 5 richest men in the world, as it was explained in the comics. The man then gave the fat guy a pistol and a bag. I was weirded out by this, as why would a pistol be in a kid's show? Who knows? Let's just continue. I then cut to Veronica cutting a ribbon to a new museum with her friends, as well as Mr. Lode, cheering like crazy. As Mr. Lodge was clapping though, the fat man snuck up behind him, pistol whipped him 3 times, and took the money from his pockets, while a helicopter with a ladder came above him, and he jumped on the ladder while the helicopter flew away. I paused the video Me and my friend just stared at each other in dead silence. Both of us were speechless, but the curious teens that we were, we continued on, completely invested on what would happen next. It cut to Mr. Lodge's vision as he woke up while in the hospital. He then asked the doctor how long he had been out. The doctor then said something about expecting him to have amnesia. Mr. Lodge just repeated the same question. The doctor said 7 hours. Mr. Lodge then stood up extremely quickly and said, "Where's Veronica?" The doctor said it was 1 a.m. and she had to leave because visiting time was over. Mr. Lodge just said, "Okay," and fell back to sleep. The time card said 6 months later, and it was at Archie's home. Archie told his mom, "Did you hear?" The mother asked, "What?" Which Archie replied, "The guy that almost killed Mr. Lodge was murdered today." "By who?" Archie's dad said as he just walked in the room. "I don't know. Probably the police or someone. He was found in the alleyway by Channing Street." It made its final cut to the Lodge house where that's it. The shot just stayed on the Lodge house. No other camera movements. Screaming was heard, most likely from Veronica, and some desperate cries by Mr. Lodge. But then you could see at the far right of the house a body fall out the window, fall several stories, and land on a picket fence. The DVD went back to the episode listing, with the episode nowhere to be seen. Me and my friend just stared at each other until my friend said, "I think I should probably leave now." I rushed to the phone and dialed his number for him. We were too scared to even explain our fears to each other. He left shortly after, and before I turned off my PlayStation 3, it turned off by itself. And not for the reason you're thinking. It overheated. I took out the DVD and put it in the case, not even looking at the DVDs. But I wonder, what if we did the same thing to disc 1? And that is the end of the creepypasta. Well, I have to admit I am solely confused. I kind of understand the beginning half of this creepypasta. I vaguely understand that, a fat man was put up with robbing a rich man. Understandable. The hospital scene is a little confusing, and the ending makes very little sense. And I don't know. And I just don't know. It doesn't make any sense. We could assume that the shadowy figure just went over to the Lodge residence and killed someone. A body fell from the window, so we could assume it's Veronica. We could assume it's Mr. Lodge. I don't think it would be the shadowy figure. When you read the creepypasta, sectioned out weirdly, the third and second to last paragraphs, while I assume, it would be Archie speaking, one half of his speech is in the third to last paragraph, and the second half is in the second to last paragraph, instead of being in one paragraph, which is a very interesting choice. Other than that, there's just minor typo-esque imperfections, like what's up, I believe is one of them, where he's trying to ask his friend what's up, but it goes what's up. But those few times it happens, a few awkward little stumbles with the wording, it's fine. The story itself is just a little confusing to follow, and it kind of leaves us with nothing to really chew over. But I don't know. Like I said, either a 1 out of 10 or a 2 out of 10, because there's just not much here to really work with. but you can always let me know what you think. But I believe it is a good time for me to say that it is bye-bye for now. Bye.